Hello, and thank you for listening. My name is Luke Mardigian, and you are listening to Be Insured, where we talk about business, leadership, and insurance. That way, on your worst day, when you need it the most, you will be insured. The mark of a good leader is someone who can effectively articulate their vision and get others excited about it. But that can be hard sometimes, especially in a time like this where we don't know what's true or where the information's coming from, who to believe, or what direction to go in. And when it comes to employees and people that you are in charge of, rallying that group of people around a common mission is incredibly difficult. And there's no one that I know who has navigated that better and can explain it clearer than someone who we are going to share with you today, Pastor Dave Williams. Dave served as the pastor at Mount Hope Church here in Lansing for over 30 years. He's authored over 60 books, which is just insane to think about, and is the creator of a leadership and ministry development course called The Art of Pace-Setting Leadership. Dave is someone I had the pleasure of knowing personally. I look up to immensely. I sat under his tutelage for years and is absolutely one of the best orators that I have ever heard in my entire life. Dave, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Luke, and thanks for that great introduction. I wish I had that on tape. I'd play that again.
Well, yeah, we'll get you the recording. Don't worry about it. And also joining me is my awesome co-host,
Eric Gastring, the Mardigian Agency.
So, Dave, before we jump into this topic, can you share a little more about yourself so our listeners can get to know you?
Well, I became pastor in 1981. We had 126 members, 226 attenders, and I retired in February of 2012, retired from pastoring. I'm not retired, but retired from pastoring. And at that time, we had 43 daughter churches in the United States, 300 plus in West Africa, 200 in Asia, 2 in South Africa, with a combined global membership of over 100,000.
Wow.
So we started with 126 and ended up with 100,000. And largely, of course, I say it's because of the Lord's blessing, but we have to be a part in that blessing.
Yeah.
And one of the things is articulating vision and micro-stepping that vision with goals, faith goals, I call them.
Yeah, and I have a copy of your Faith Goals book right here in studio with me. It's one of my go-tos. I've
good.
assigned it out to my entire team. We've gone through it as an agency, so it's one of my go-tos.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear.
One of my favorite principles in it is a concept that you call faith movies. Mm-hmm. Can you share a little bit about that with our listeners?
Sure. In 1980, before I became pastor, I went to New York and I met a man named Dr. Paul Young-E Cho. He was the pastor in South Korea of a huge church. At that time, I think it had 50,000 members. Now, he got up and he began to share the power of faith movies. He didn't call them faith movies. He called them something else. He seeing things with your eye of faith. He called it the fourth dimension. And he said when he would preach, he'd preach with his eyes closed when he started because people would ask him, why do you preach with your eyes closed? He said, well, with my eyes open, I see 13 people. With my eyes closed, I see 1,000 people. And he taught us the principle of faith vision, seeing things that others don't see, being able to see full churches and businesses that are successful and productive and fruitful and helping the community, seeing things in a different light than what you might hear on the newscasts in the evening. And that touched me. I came back and I looked at my church, and when I became pastor, and 126 members, 226 attenders on a good Sunday. And I'd go in the back room and I'd close my eyes and I would picture every seat filled to capacity. Then that happened. It took about 6 months, but that happened. And then I would see ushers setting up chairs every week, and sure enough, that happened. Then we had to put in a balcony, and before you knew it, we were in 5 Sunday services at the church. And it wasn't because I was well educated. It wasn't because I had all kinds of wisdom. It was because I began to see things that others didn't see. And that's what vision is. It's a macro picture of the way things should be. Now, I believe this is a sound measurement of effective leadership. The ability to, wait for a vision, articulate that vision, sketch out that vision, lay out that vision, because that's a sign of leadership. And we need more leaders like you, Luke, in business and insurance and other types of service industries. Tom Peters put it this way: leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. They create more like themselves. And if we do that, we grow and grow and grow and grow. And you know as well as I do, whether it's a business or a church or whatever it is, if we ever level off for a certain period of time, if we don't continue to grow, develop, expand, we will level off, and then after being level so long, you end up dying. You go over the hill of the roller coaster, and it's almost it's very difficult to get it back without fresh leadership. Then,
yeah, that's what we have a saying in the health world, that the only things that don't move are the things that are dead. So if your organization isn't moving forward, it's probably dead.
Probably.
Hey, Dave, this is Eric, the co-host.
And by the way, Dave, Eric is a fellow naval veteran.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, and thank you for your service, Eric.
Thank you, sir. Were you in the Navy?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, thank you for your service. Fellow seaman. That's always good.
Yeah.
So I wish you could see me right now, but you will be able to look back on this. I'm wearing a Christmas suit in this, so it's pretty exciting. You'll probably chuckle when you see this. But I just want to know, when a leader fails to get their people excited about their vision, what is it that's typically the result of? In other words, what is the mistakes that they typically make?
I think there's a couple of things. Number one, they're not concise enough about their vision. A vision has to be short and sweet when you're articulating it. Otherwise, sometimes leaders will talk on and on and on and on until the actual vision gets lost in the clutter, and so the team doesn't get it effectively shared with them. So I think the burden is on us. The burden is on the leader of the business, because when you're running a business, your team is the most important asset you have and the biggest resource you have. And so we, as leaders or business owners or top agents in the insurance business, it's up to us to take it upon ourselves to effectively share our vision with our team and to motivate them. Now, I heard Steve Scott wrote the book, The Millionaire Notebook, and he went from 0 to 20 million real fast. Wow. He said this. He said, "People say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink." He said, that might be true, but you can make the horse really thirsty so he wants to drink.
That's awesome.
So you feed the horse salt, and when he gets to the water, now he wants to drink it. And so he calls it the salt and the horse principle. And there's a way we can motivate, because not everybody's going to jump in with great enthusiasm at the first time. They might even roll their eyeballs. Oh, more work for us. But if you show them the benefits, if you strategize the vision with micro steps, which I call faith goals, and they see their part in it, and they see reward, you're salting them. And it's the same with advertising. Most advertising that you see in the newspaper, hear on the radio or television, is really money down the drain, because they'll tell you the features. People need to hear benefits, and the same with your team. They want to know, what is the benefit of this vision? How does it affect me? It's the let's see, What's in It for Me, WIIFM. Somebody said everybody listens to WIFFM radio. What's in it for me?
Yep, true. It's so true.
And so even our team members want to know, well, what's in it for me? And so if you set the clear and measurable goals and reward the people, show them the reward that's in it for them.
Yeah, that's us as an organization. One of the evolutions of that is my vision. A core piece of my vision is that in my vision is room for others to live out their God-given visions. So it's not limited to just what Luke wants to accomplish or what Luke thinks needs to be accomplished, but everyone has a unique call in their life. And how can you express that call within our vision? And maybe it's even in a way that you didn't think. One of our agents is a former pastor. Well, he'll tell you the most effective ministry he's ever had is in the insurance agency. He's had marriages healed. He's had breakthrough in people's lives just because their guard isn't up. They're not looking at him like a pastor. They're looking at him like an insurance agent. And so, they're able to let him in. And so he's found his vision of serving others and loving others within our vision through a means that he never even considered. And it's such a powerful thing when people see their own vision can fit.
Wow. That's powerful, Luke. That's very powerful.
Yeah, it's been a game changer for us, and it's also really helped with recruiting talent too, because most people, and studies show this, Harvard grads and Princeton grads, they'll leave for a less pay if they feel it has a bigger impact, and it's that mission driven, that vision that draws them in.
You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
And in this uncertain time, Dave, where there's a lack of vision, where the vision is being, like you said, being painted by the media and our government officials and our social media moguls as this grim, fearful time, how would you encourage leaders to encourage their people? How would you encourage them to give vision to their people that is not just counterculture, but directly in line with what we believe is true?
Well, we know that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Warren Bennis said that. And if I understand your question correctly, you want to know how do we articulate a bigger and greater vision even for people in government?
No, yeah. So if you're a leader in today's world and the media is telling all of your people that you should be afraid and that this is a terrible time, that nothing's going to get accomplished, they might lose their jobs, how do they use vision to encourage their people in the midst of that environment?
Well, you have to correct what the people are what they're saying. I just personally, well, let me give you one example. We have a businessman in our church. 2008 it was when the crash came. Yep. His business was down. It was falling, and he decided to quit watching the news. He quit watching the news, and within 90 days, his business was up 60% in 90 days. Wow. And it has been up ever since. He's got a great business here in the city, but he quit watching the news. He quit letting that stuff go in. And I tell my team members, you have to believe the right things. Because people have belief systems, BS belief systems. and some people's belief systems are BS.
Yeah.
Belief systems that are taking them down instead of propelling them forward.
We call that
true
fear.
In business. Fear.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good point here.
So I agree with you. I think changing the channel is so important. I deleted Facebook, which has been instrumental to our business, and we still use it from a business perspective. I check it, but through a browser, not through the app. Those apps are designed to get your brain triggered with dopamine and serotonin, so that you want to hit it when you see the notification. Well, I just don't get notifications anymore. I check it when I want to, and taking control of what's in front of my eyes, and that's something I learned from you is taking in that eye gate. What are you taking your eye gate and your ear gate? That affects how you think and how you see things. And, Dave, we got to wrap up here, but I just want to say thank you. Your life has meant so much to me, and the seeds that you've planted have turned into not just redwoods, but forest of redwoods. And that's a legacy that's worth living. So for those who are interested, you can go to davewilliams.org. Is that right, Dave?
DaveWilliams.com.
DaveWilliams.com to support Dave's ministry. Check out his 60 books he's written. They're amazing. I've read almost every one of them. I highly recommend Faith Goals, which is on the screen right now if you're watching via video, or you can jump on and search Faith Goals on DaveWilliams.com. So, Dave, thank you so much for being on the show. And is there any social media that they can connect with you on?
Just DaveWilliams.com. Everything would be there.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Luke, Eric. Nice talking with you.
You too. We'll see you next time on Be Insured.